Hey everyone, it's Ryzen.
And Liz.
Welcome to the Bills and Patriots preview. Basically the division. For the Bills, it's the playoffs because the Colts beating the Patriots last week was actually not good for the Bills' playoff chances. It helps them in the division. It does not help them making the playoffs because it almost eliminates them from a wild card possibility entirely. So the Bills are basically in a must-win situation. The Patriots need to win the division, basically. They're probably a wild card team if they don't. Injury list, Aguilar's got a concussion. He's obviously not playing. Whatever, he's basically Philip Dorsett anyway. Sorry, the guy's underperformed, is what it is.
Maybe he'll be better next year.
I paid him a lot of money to be Philip Dorsett. Stevenson's sick. He didn't participate, but I'm sure he'll be there in the game. He's not injured. Andrews still with his shoulder, Barmore with his knee, Bentley with his rib, Bolden with his knee, Folk with his knee, Harris with his hamstring, but Harris has been practicing. I would expect Harris to be available for this game. Harry with his hip. I have no idea how Harry did not get a concussion last week, but apparently he's fine.
You're going to need a big game out of him, that's for sure.
Well, he's going to be playing every snap because of, well, A, blocking, but B, no Aguilar. Phillips with his knee. I'm expecting most of those guys to play, though. The big one is Harris. Hopefully Harris will play.
Yeah, he needs to have a big game.
He needs to have a big game, yeah. The Bills, their cornerback, Cam Lewis, is sick. For some reason, Lutu Lele, however you pronounce his name, he's got a personal reason, so that's weird. Obviously, that doesn't mean anything. Micah Hyde is limited with his back. That'd be a big loss, but he'll probably play. Tywan Jones with his knee, running back, who cares? The Bills don't even know what a running back is, frankly.
Yeah, Josh Allen is their running back.
Nah, it's a big problem for Buffalo. It just is. I mean, look, it's the team they decided. They decided to make a dome team. I don't know why. Allen's still on there with his foot, so we'll see if he actually tries to scramble around at all because he is not in good shape right now. When he got his foot crushed, 2 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the risk when you rely on your running back to run the ball. D.E., Jerry Hughes with his neck, and Emmanuel Sanders with his knee. All three of them were full participants in practice.
So the bigger deal for the Bills is Cole Beasley and, I don't know the guy's first name, but Davis are both out for 10 days because of COVID.
Not only is it COVID, the idiots aren't vaccinated. And so you've hurt your team. In a must-win situation, you are now not available.
For 10 days, that's 2 weeks.
Yeah, you're going to miss 2 games now because you didn't get a vaccine. And Buffalo apparently didn't encourage you to get the vaccine, so now you've hurt your team. And basically that means Jackson no longer has to single cover Diggs. That means Diggs is going to be doubled all game. That means you can wipe him out of the game. He's completely irrelevant.
Right. And even when they played them earlier in the month, and it was windy, Diggs did absolutely nothing in that game.
He didn't do much. He had 1 good catch.
Right.
So he's probably going to be a non-factor. And their number 2 and number 3 receivers are out. So who do they have left?
I have no idea.
They have no receivers in this game. So, we'll see.
I mean, not that we have any receivers in this game either.
But we've never had receivers. That's the difference.
That's true.
We actually have the better receiving core going into this game, because we have Jacoby Myers, you got Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith is contributing now.
My suspicion is that Henry's going to have a big game.
You got Harry, can block.
And he can make the catches.
He can make contested catches here and there. And if Kendrick Bourne does come off the COVID list, which is TBD at this point, he is vaccinated.
He has no symptoms, apparently.
He has no symptoms, so 50-50. If he plays especially, the Patriots got a huge advantage at receiver right now for this game.
Yeah, definitely.
If he doesn't play, I think the Patriots still have the better receiving core going into this game.
That means I would suspect that we'll see Gunnar play on offense a little bit at receiver.
Probably a little bit, but they're probably going to do a lot of 22 personnel with the 2 tight end sets.
Yeah.
And they're going to run the ball up the gut a lot, too, because
that's Buffalo's biggest weakness.
Yes, they're small. It is what it is. They are too small at linebacker and defensive line. Look, when you just draft and sign a bunch of coverage linebackers, well, you're going to get run over. And that is what has happened to Buffalo time and time again this year.
Yeah.
They can tackle and stop guys that are tiny, but when you got a Stevenson or a Harris, they're going to run you over. So
And our offensive linemen are pretty big guys,
yeah,
too.
they're big.
I mean, especially Trent Brown.
Especially on the right side, they're big.
Trent Brown is huge.
Wynn's actually a smaller lineman, but everybody else is huge. So, I mean, running to that right side, they're going to dominate. They should dominate the line of scrimmage again. And Buffalo can't stack the box with 10 guys anymore.
No.
If they do that, they're just going to play fake and throw the ball outside.
Tampa took advantage of it, too, when Tampa Bay just played them. What happened at the end of that game?
Well, they got ran over by
It wasn't
Fournette.
Fournette. Well, he
got a big run in the beginning of the game.
True. And then that other random receiver they have.
So, look, they have a problem with the run. They just do at this point. The Bills only win games when Allen takes over. I mean, they basically rely on him almost completely.
Right.
And that's a huge problem.
It's kind of like Kansas City, too, to some respect.
Well, Kansas City's screwed this week because they have no receivers either.
Yeah,
So,
their whole team is just totally
Mahomes
demolished.
literally has nobody to throw to. So good luck against Pittsburgh this week.
Yeah, I give that game to Pittsburgh.
I would say Pittsburgh's probably going to win that game now because KC has no team. I don't know. I think the Patriots are going to win this game. So
They're practicing in the stadium, so
Yeah,
usually they do that for playoff games. They don't usually do that for just regular season games.
yeah, they're well because they were bad in practice last week, which is why they looked so terrible against the Colts. And the fact that they still almost won that game despite practicing like crap, despite playing like horrible the whole game, and still barely losing.
Says something.
That says something about how good the team actually can be.
Right. All the players even said that they were bad in practice.
Yeah, even Bill said they were bad in practice.
Yeah.
So that's not going to happen again.
No, they fixed that.
So, yeah, they should win this game. I think they're going to win it.
I'll say like 20-6.
They're not going to win 20-6. Jeez.
You think Buffalo will score more?
Bills
than
ain't that bad.
I don't know. They've
No.
been locking teams down in terms of scores. So
I mean, the Bills they did put up a lot of points on the Panthers, but I mean, it's also the Panthers. No, they're probably going to get it. I don't know. It's probably going to be like a 21-14 game, something like that. But I think the Patriots are going to control the clock. They're going to dominate the line of scrimmage, and they're going to make less mistakes than the Bills. They're gonna mix up the coverages on defense. They're gonna confuse Allen. They're gonna push the pocket in the middle.
yeah.
Make Allen throw off his back foot. They're gonna take away that rollout to the right that he likes.
Yep. And that's
And,
that.
They're Allen's best receiving option is going to be Sanders because
And he's old now.
and
He's still good.
Nah, there's a reason why Emmanuel Sanders has been on like 3 teams in 5 years.
He's just getting old.
He's
Regressed.
regressed, number 1, but number 2, he's never been an elite receiver to begin with.
He was pretty good when he played for Denver.
Yeah, when
He was young.
there were Julius Thomas and Demaryius Thomas who were elite receivers around him.
True.
So he benefited from that. No, I mean, we'll see if Jackson covers Diggs one-on-one because they might actually just have Jackson
just
cover
do it.
Sanders
No, they could.
1v1 and then just double Diggs.
Right.
Because you can do that when you have a shutdown corner. You can put him on the number 2 and take away the number 1 with doubles.
That's what the Pats like to do as well.
That's what they've done before. Or they might just have Jackson 1v1 Diggs. But, I mean, he pretty much, he beat him in the last matchup. So, I mean,
Yeah.
50-mile-an-hour winds, so take it with a grain of salt. But the guy is a shutdown corner at this point. So.
I mean, he got first ballot in the Pro Bowl, so.
Yeah, for a reason. He's the best corner in football this year.
Yeah.
So, we'll see.
Speaking of the Pro Bowl, well, I just mentioned it. Jackson got first ballot, Judon got 5th.
5th, yeah.
And then Slater got 10th, and he's been in the most Pro Bowls of all time, basically.
Slater's the best gunner in the history of the NFL.
He's going to be in the Hall of Fame, no question.
Oh, he's not just going to be in the Hall of Fame. He's probably a first ballot Hall of Famer. Because, I mean, he's literally the best gunner in the history of the sport.
And it's funny with Judon, it's his first year with the Patriots. He did make the Pro Bowl 2 years this is his third year in there.
Third year.
It's funny though, when we played Baltimore in the past, I feel like we either he wasn't on the team then,
he wasn't a
or
factor.
now he's just fantastic.
He's gotten better.
He is the best pickup for the Patriots in the offseason.
He's been the best pickup of the offseason for any team.
Right. He's been fantastic.
I mean, Patriots nailed free agency. They nailed the draft.
Judon is just a monster.
Pretty much everybody except for, I'd say, Aguilar has contributed to this team. And even Aguilar's had some contributions.
True.
Just not what you'd like to see. But, I mean, Hunter Henry's been fantastic. Smith has come along now recently.
Yep. They do a lot of those little run plays with him.
Obviously, Trent Brown's been amazing since coming back into the line.
Yeah, and then you talk about defense, too. I mean, Barmore is a monster they got in the trade, or the draft.
An amazing.
And then Godshaw's been amazing.
Godshaw's been great, too.
Great pickup.
These were guys that a lot of people laughed at, like Godshaw. Like
he was undrafted.
You're going to pay him? He's been a fantastic interior defensive lineman for the team.
Him and Barmore have just been a nightmare in the
remember pundits saying we overpaid for Judon. Well, he's a top 3 defensive end in the league right now. I guess we didn't overpay.
He smashed Chandler Jones' sack record for the Patriots, and Jones is still a great player.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And it just is what it is. Even Jalen Mills has been pretty solid in the secondary.
And Phillips.
Yeah. Well, Phillips was a couple years ago, but he's been great. Duggar has developed into a great safety.
The whole secondary. I mean, assuming McCourty retires this year or next year, they definitely are fine at safety.
And the worst player on the secondary is probably Miles Bryant, and even he's been pretty solid.
He's had a couple of good picks, a couple of good plays. He broke up that game at the end of the Buffalo game.
I know, he read that play at the end.
Yeah.
He read Allen's eyes.
Yeah, he made that great play in that game.
So, we'll see.
And I know Buffalo fans are still salty over all those non-calls in the Tampa Bay game, but let me tell you, in the Colts game, there were a lot of non-calls on the Colts team.
Yeah, there's non-calls in every game. It is what it is. You got to overcome it. You shouldn't put yourself in a situation where that matters. I mean, Buffalo, you have no right to complain. You were down 3 scores against Tampa Bay. You shouldn't even have been in the game.
Right, you almost came back and won, for Christ's sake.
The fact that you somehow came back and almost won that game is a miracle in and of itself. So, but you put yourself in that situation to where a bad call does swing the game, and that's your fault.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have been down 21 points.
Same thing with the Patriots. We shouldn't have been down 20 points against the Colts.
Shouldn't have been down 20-0. That's
on the team.
Patriots' fault.
Right, that's on the team.
So, I mean, you got to overcome officiating. It's not a valid excuse.
No.
Whatever. Same with injuries. You got to overcome it. Tennessee overcame it last time against San Francisco.
Right, they won.
Having no players.
Somehow they still are winning games.
Just with A.J. Brown back.
Right.
But, no, you got to overcome. It is what it is. And if you don't overcome, well, get better coaching.
Yep, that's what it comes down to.
So, whatever. We'll see what happens in the game. Hopefully the Patriots win this game, lock up the division. Hopefully Kansas City loses to Pittsburgh. I give that's probably a 50-50 shot with how bad Kansas City's
I mean,
banged
KC
up.
doesn't have their kicker. They don't have Travis Kelce. They don't have their running back. Their kicker's on the COVID list.
I know he is. They have no kicker, so they can't kick field goals.
And he's out for 10 days, too.
Yeah, because you didn't... Why would you keep a kicker on your... I'm sorry. Why would you keep a kicker on your team? You don't have a backup kicker. If your kicker's not vaccinated, you should be cutting him at the beginning of the year.
Especially in the season that we're in.
You cannot afford to lose your kicker to COVID for 10 days.
So I don't know what they're going to do.
No, that's a personnel mistake by Kansas City, period. You should have moved on at the beginning of the year if he wasn't going to get the vaccine. There are some positions where it's just not negotiable. Quarterback's another one. And that's not, and frankly, Green Bay, I think, screwed up. To be fair, Rodgers apparently lied to everybody, but...
And he suffered no consequences.
I know, that's ridiculous. He probably should have faced a suspension for that.
But yet, Antonio Brown, who faked his COVID card, got suspended.
Well, he got suspended for 3 games. I mean, I guess Rodgers didn't fake a COVID card, but he definitely lied.
So, potatoes, right?
So, if you're suspending Brown, you should have suspended Rodgers for 3 games. They should. I'm sorry. You got to be consistent. I don't care how good the guy is. You got to be consistent.
Mm-hmm.
So, whatever. I don't know. COVID's like derailing half the teams again. It is what it is. They're bringing back some of those old protocols from last year. I don't know why they got rid of them. So hopefully some of these guys can get back on the field faster. But
yeah, because a lot of the guys now who are getting sick have no symptoms whatsoever.
well, a lot of it's the breakthrough infections. But the breakthrough infections pass to the guys that don't have the vaccine, and then they're gone for 2 games.
Oh well.
Oh well. Get the shot, man. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, you're hurting your team. You are actively hurting your team.
Yeah.
That's just reality. For a selfish decision, you are hurting your team. And there's a reason the Patriots told Cam Newton, bye, there's the door. Because when he went on the COVID list without the vaccine, they're like, nope, bye. We're not going through this again.
Right.
I mean, he broke protocol. And that cost us a season last year.
And he's been absolutely atrocious for the Panthers.
And it's not his fault last year because there was no vaccine. But this year, I'm sorry, there's no excuse.
Right.
There's no excuse. Take the precautions and get the vaccine if you're going to play football. Otherwise, you risk hurting your team. And that's just reality. You know? It's already cost Buffalo once. It's probably going to cost them this game too.
Possibly. Unless they figure something out.
Yeah. We'll see. Whatever, we'll come with a recap, and hopefully the Patriots win. I don't know, it's not going to be an easy game, but they're our favorites.
It's going to be easier than the first matchup because it's not going to be a tornado outside.
Yeah, I know. They'll actually be able to mix in some play action passing, so
yeah,
that'll be good. Hopefully Mac has a good game. All right, take care.